hard riffs. Well, hey guys, welcome to Rock Hard Riffs. This is the guitar channel for the self-taught. Hey, if you happen to be new to our channel, please have a look in our playlist. There's all kinds of things, different guitar technique videos that would be under guitar instruction, how to play different songs, all kinds of different stuff. And if you like what you see, if you like what we do, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Okay guys, in today's video we're going to talk about scale length and break angle. Now previously we had made a video about different types of frets, fret height, fret size, all that sort of thing. Well, this kind of ties in with that. Also string gauge works in with what we're going to talk about a little bit. So, okay guys, let's take a typical Gibson style guitar. This is our Epiphone Les Paul Plus Top Pro. By the way, that's our new Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates pickup we have in the bridge. Man, do I love that thing. What you were hearing was the Strymon Sunset with the Texas overdrive, so that's kind of like a tube screamer. So again, let's talk about scale length. Now, why? What's the deal? Does it make a difference? Actually, it does make a difference. Fenders like Telecasters and Stratocasters have a longer scale length. Those are generally about 25.5 inches or 25.5 inches. The way that is measured is from the nut to the middle of the 12th fret. This is the actual scale length here, but the thing is, when you go to intonate the guitar, these saddles move back and forth, and you're going to get slightly different measurements on each one. So a way to rectify that is to just measure from here to the center of the 12th fret, and away you go. That's going to tell you your scale length. Okay, now this Gibson type guitar like this, though it's an Epiphone, has a 24 3/4 inch scale. It also uses a break angle at the headstock from the neck, and we're going to take a closer look and compare this to a Fender Style. But again, right now, scale length. How does that affect you? Well, the longer the scale length, the tighter or the more taut the strings need to be in order to ring out properly and not buzz on the fretboard when you try to have a reasonable action, I guess. And that's why it's really easy to set up a low action on a guitar like this. But it is also possible on Fender Style too. Like my ESP also is a 25.5 or 25.5 inch scale length, but the action on it is super low. But we'll talk about string gauges and that sort of thing, how that affects it, and also tuning. So let's take a Fender style guitar that tends to have the longer scale length, okay, the 25.5 inch scale length. The string needs to be a certain tautness in order to ring out, right? And also that has to do with the break angle here and the break angle here. So they're both part of the same issue. Your string gauge can also be an issue with that. So what some people tend to do with Fender style guitars is down tune them, right? So then they aren't quite as stiff as they're a little more relaxed, like a Gibson style. So therefore you can down tune a little bit and relax it, but the only problem with that is sometimes you might start getting fret buzz. So to counter that, you use a heavier string gauge. So you're constantly in a battle between the yin and yang of the string gauge and the tautness and the scale length and the break angle, so they all interact with each other. But there are slight differences, and there are different ways to counter the tension. So let's go ahead and take a look at both the Gibson style or Epiphone and the Fender style. Let's go ahead and look at the Epiphone first, since we were playing with that already. Now you can see that the neck goes back at an angle. Now Gibsons actually are more angled, right? More pitch to the angle. That's a whole other argument. How much of a break angle do you actually need, or how much should you have, etc. We're not going to go into that. We're just going to talk about the break angle itself. So again, that tilts back so that it pulls the string back across the nut to get a pitch. And it's the same thing right here. There's a break angle that pulls these strings down, and then of course goes across the bridge in order to make the strings ring out. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a Fender style. This has no break angle at all, but of course Fender has it this way. But there is a problem with that, and that is that the longer that the string has to go, the less of an angle there happens to be, and that's why we have the little string tree there that pulls the string down in order to make the break angle enough in order to make the guitar ring out. And of course in our Tele here, the strings go down and through the body. right? So there's all kinds of tons of break angle on that bridge there, right? So there's no question about that. And I think that's in part what kind of gives the Telecaster, or at least Fender's, part of their tone. There you have it, guys. Now the Fender style guitars tend to have a little higher action because of the way that they're set up. Whereas like the Gibson style can again have a lower action. But I love them both and I use them for different things and different sounds. That's the entire point of having different styles of guitars, right? If I had to choose, I would probably choose the 24 and 3/4 inch scale length, like on our Les Paul here. Again, the strings are a little more lax, it's easier to bend. There's really no big difference other than that to me, and the action, I like a nice low action. Now just in case you're curious, I use 9-gauge strings on all my guitars. So I don't worry about down tuning or this or that. I just go with what I can do with my 9-gauge strings, and I do pretty well with them, I think. So, alright guys, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and share us, and we'll see you guys next video.